Heyo. So this is what I'm going to try for our Stereo Quiz 3 review. I'm going to walk you guys through the questions. I'll do all 15 of them here for a moment. The drawback is going to be is that the only way to get the answers is you're kind of going to have to listen to me, because I'm not going to put the answers up on the screen. I'll put the question up there and I'm going to talk you through it, but I'm going to be mean to you, and I'm going to try to make you listen and learn, and I know you're going to hate it, and you're going to have to try and fast forward to try to figure it out from there, but I'm doing what I can to try to make you learn, whether you like it or not, so we'll see how it goes. You can get up to a 21. Just make sure that you email me, and then I will update your grade for you. All right, here we go. There we go. So access code is going to be retake, R-E-T-A-K-E in capital letters. All right, question number 1. From the story you had to read, what is the best example of irony in the story? So as you go through there, 1, if you've not figured it out by now, I put fake answers on there because when I was a kid and I took quizzes, I got bored and I had a teacher who entertained me with fake answers, so I try to do the same thing. I just put them on there so that you guys can read them. They make a little story and entertain you, so just to give you a heads up from there. But the actual one, again, irony is the opposite of what you're expecting to have happen. And if you look on there, the head bully's name is going to be Monk. And Monk is the name of a peaceful person, and here he is the head bully, so that's going to be your irony. The fact that the head bully's name is Monk. 2, what was the author's purpose for sharing this story with us? If it helps, I didn't create this question. This was one that we had to do for the entire 7th grade to see if you're paying attention to things. And so it should not be necessarily to teach us a lesson, but it should be, you're not trying to persuade anybody, it's not informative, but basically you're entertaining us while teaching us a lesson about bullying. So it was just an entertaining story. You weren't teaching, you weren't persuading, you weren't informing. It was just trying to make sure you could tell the different verbs. 3, what is the point of view for the story? This one was actually kind of tough. If you looked on like the first column and you went down to the bottom of it, that was the only place you would figure out. It was first person following an unnamed narrator. It feels like it's third person until you get to the bottom of that first column, and it says, even I paid up, when he was talking about getting bullied. And so we find out it is a narrator telling us the story, so technically it's in first person. I know it doesn't feel like it, and it's kind of tricky and kind of mean, but it's just a matter of reading it. 4. Which quote best identifies the start of the main external conflict? Well, 1, what's the main external conflict? So you should have Priscilla on one side, and then Priscilla is going to be fighting this Monk guy. So it's Priscilla and sort of Monk going against each other throughout the story. So which of these quotes would connect to that beginning part? Let's see. No, practically every guy. I admit this. I paid up. She brings the side of Renora's hand down at chop that breaks the Cobra's hand. Everybody who didn't notice. So you're going to be her doing the karate chop when she smacks his hand away. That is going to be your quote. That's where the whole conflict started, where all of a sudden the guy grabbed little Melvin and then she smacks the hand away. 5, what is the best resolution of the main conflict for the story? So this would be, again, resolution is the thing that happens at the end of the story. Monk reaching for Melvin's too early. The snow leaves Monk trapped for a week. Priscilla chops away the Cobra's hand. Priscilla locks Monk in a locker. And so on that one, resolution should be your snow leaves Monk trapped for a week. Should be, actually it's going to be this one. Priscilla locks Monk in a locker. Because it should say the best resolution of the main conflict, not resolution of the story. Resolution of the story is the snow leaves Monk trapped. The resolution of the main conflict is Priscilla locking Monk in a locker. 6. From the story, Priscilla learned that Monk makes a difficult decision to break his own rule and reach for Melvin himself. Internal or external? Internal decision. External, something versus something. This is going to be a decision he makes, so it's going to be your internal conflict. Internal. 7. Which sentence best states the theme of the story? Theme, what we learn. Being tough is the most important quality? No. Monk was tough and that got him killed. Being a hero can be dangerous. I mean, Priscilla was a hero. It wasn't very dangerous for her. Sometimes it's best to just pay a bully. No, that's never a good thing. Never pay a bully. A hero is someone who will stand up. Yes, that's what Priscilla does. Priscilla stands up for Melvin. She is a hero because she fights for her friend. 8. From the story you had to read, which of the should not be considered a plot point in the story. So one of these is not a plot point. One of these is going to be setting. So figure out which one is setting. Monk gets shoved into a locker. Priscilla stops a cobra from bullying Melvin. The cobras collected lunch money from the speaker. The entire story takes place at a school during the daytime. That last one. That's setting. So that's just a matter of, the difference between setting and plot. 9. Which of these plot points would best be part of the story's exposition? Exposition is boring beginning stuff. So which one of these is the boring beginning stuff? The cobra is charged for our restroom passes in the school. That was at the beginning. The cobras ask for Melvin for a dwarf tax. That's later on. They confront him. Monk is left in the locker. That's at the very end. Priscilla asks the cobra. Priscilla doesn't show up till halfway through. The only one that makes sense is the very first one. That happens towards the beginning of the story. 10. Which word describes both Priscilla Roseberry and Monk Clutter? Something that would describe both of them. Well, it can't be enormous because they say Monk has to look up to her. Calm, that might kind of work because they don't really freak out, but I would say her slamming him into a locker and karate chopping, that might not be calm. I don't think Priscilla's mean. Self-confident, I think that would work. I think Monk is definitely thinking pretty highly of himself, and Priscilla definitely seems to think pretty highly of herself too, so I would go with self-confident. Did I skip 11? I apologize. Somehow I missed number 11. That's on me. I don't know what that one was, but apparently I forgot to put that one on there. I apologize. I have failed you. 12. Which of the following is not a good example of irony? So this one is just in general, looking at the different examples on there, which one is not the opposite of what we would expect? A dentist who has a cavity? That's kind of what we covered in class. A farmer who starves to death? That would be ironic because you make food. The last one, a thief who gets robbed? Yeah, they thieve other people, so you wouldn't expect them to get robbed. A blind woman who regains her vision? Yeah, that's not ironic. That's just awesome. If you're blind and regain vision, that's just a good thing. So it would be the blind woman. 13. Which of these images is not a strong example of irony? 3 are going to be irony. One of them is not. This one says, always open and it's closed, opposite of what you're expecting. Procrastinators meeting. Procrastinating is going to be when you put stuff off and their meeting's been postponed, so it got put off is what you would expect. Airbags save lives, place children in rear seat. That would be kind of ironic because if you're saying that you want to have airbags save kids and someone say put them in the rear seat, it means we're not saving the kids. And then a basketball stuck in a hoop. That's not ironic at all. There's nothing there. It's just a basketball. I just picked a random picture and put it on there to see if you'd come up with something. All the other ones are at least ironic. 14. From Boy World. Which of these would be the best theme of the story? Well, 1. If you've not read this one, you should. I really enjoyed writing that one for you. But the best theme, this was all about Eric and the fact that Eric tried to drop out of school and then realized he couldn't get the job he wanted if he didn't go to school, so then he had to go back to school, so something about school. We have be careful when bad weather hits. No, I don't care about that. Education is important. Ooh, that one sounds good. Education is important and you should stay in school. I think that's pretty much dead on. And then never accept a job. No. Your parents are always correct. You guys have parents. You know they're not always correct. So education is important. 15, using the 2 stories listed above, Boy World and Priscilla and the Wimps, which comparison is most accurate about the stories? Seeing if you paid attention to both stories to see what happens in them. Priscilla and the Wimps, what was the very last thing that happened? She puts him into a locker and a snowstorm hits and we think he dies. What was the whole thing of Boy World about? Big snowstorm hitting and the fact that he wants to be a weatherman. Using that information, weather plays a major role in the story. So that's the thing that's accurate for both of them. The fact that weather plays a major role in both stories. The other ones don't really connect. I just put random things on there. All right. That's it. that gives you, well, 14. Since I skipped number 11, I apologize, that's on me. But it gives you the other ones. If you redo it, make sure you email me, and then I will update your grade for you, and then you should be good to go. Worst case, even if you don't do number 11 because I skipped it and you don't want to put your own answer on that one, you'll still get over a 21, so you should be safe. All right, hopefully this works. See you guys later.